Hello everyone and welcome back to Southeast Guitar Repair Academy. Today we're going to show you a little trick about steaming out some grooves or divots that you might have in some raw wood. One of you guys had asked about this the other day. You had mentioned something about a little divot in a natural finish. So I just wanted to kind of show you hands-on kind of a little quick little trick you can do for it. If you look at this is just a little practice base that we keep around. It's kind of all beat up and everything, but you can see these pretty deep scratches right here across the fingerboard, really groove down into the wood. Now this only works whenever there's no finish on the instrument. Yeah, you can probably see them a little better in that shade there. So on something like this, say you get some damage on a fingerboard, sometimes you can do it on a top. On an acoustic, you just got to be real careful. It's got to be something that doesn't have any finish on it. So what you're doing is basically you're just kind of swelling the wood up. You're going to bring this up a little bit and try to make it a little bit more level with the surface of the rest of the fingerboard. So you want to start with a very wet towel, barely even squeezing this, very, very wet. Soldering iron, and finish it up with your razor. So you just want to come through it, and you're not going to get these completely out, but if you do spend a little bit of time on them, let them soak for a little bit, you will notice that the wood does want to swell up even further, and you will be able to level them out to a pretty clean and accurate point. So just want to wet that surface a little bit, and you want to come through with your soldering iron and your wet paper towel and just start steaming those out. I'm just going to come across these just a few times back and forth. Kind of let that wood swell up there. And try not to hit the rest of the surface with the shaft of your soldering iron. You just want to kind of start steaming this little area up. And this does get very hot, as you can tell, so be careful not to burn yourself. And just keep swelling them up, just work a little back and forth. Like I said, it's not going to be perfect, but if you can get these out a little closer to the surface of the rest of the fingerboard, you'll make a great improvement on it. You can see it's kind of fuzzing up a little bit. You can see as it dries, you can already start to see a little bit of a difference. Just keep moving to a fresh spot of your paper towel. Make sure you're getting enough water on there. And the steam will get you, so be very, very careful not to burn yourself. And you can give this a few treatments, kind of let it sit, let it dry, raise up a little bit. For the sake of this video, we're going to kind of accelerate the process, just so you guys can see a little better. And if you got to come through and do a couple treatments, that's totally fine. Then just come through with your razor blade, same as you would on anything else. Do completely level passes all the way across. And you can still see those grooves in there. I'm going to hit this a couple more times. Just want to try to swell these up. They're already coming a lot further up on that surface than they were. Just move this down here. And I'll just do a few more passes on this here as well. Good and swelled up there. And don't rush this process. Take your time with it. I'm only working a little quicker on this video because it's just the same process, rinse and repeat. I'm gonna keep doing the same thing over and over for a minute. Really, once you get a couple treatments in there, you really swelled that up to a good point. It should be rising up and getting a lot more level with that surface. Get good and wet. And exact same thing. You do this about 2 or 3 times. You should be able to get everything nice and level across there. You can see they're starting to look a little bit more level right in there. Just do one last treatment on here real quick. It's just water. Nothing fancy, no secret chemical or anything, just water. Straight out the faucet. I'll flip this towel over to a fresh spot as that towel will start to wear out a little bit. And don't try to do this on anything that has finish on it. You'll end up steaming across the finish and you'll end up damaging the surface. This only works on unfinished wood. You can even start this process a little early. If you want to come through about 5 minutes, let this towel just kind of soak on there. It'll make a big difference as well. Just anything you can do to try to swell that wood up a little bit. Dry this off. Let's pass here with our razor. Make sure we got a nice clean surface. Let's use a fresh razor here. And keep in mind, anytime you're having to razor anything on a surface like this across the fingerboard, you want to match everything on this fingerboard. So whether you're doing an inlay repair or you're doing, taking some grooves and divots out just like this, you want to end up razoring the entire fingerboard. Might take you about 5 minutes. It's not a very long process, but it is something that's absolutely necessary to make everything look nice and uniform across the board. And go across the grain here, just one last time. I think we've raised that grain enough. It's going to stay feeling pretty smooth across there. So you shouldn't have to hit that with a razor anymore. Yeah, you see how that's very inconsistent to the rest of them, so it doesn't hurt to just go through. This is the same technique you do whenever you're cleaning up your refrets. Go through and hit everything. I'm not going to do this whole fingerboard, I'm just doing a couple around it. So you get a good visualization, a little better idea. Like I said, this is our practice base. This thing just kind of sits around and gets used for a few things here and there. I'm sure you'll probably see more of her. in the future. And there you go. Just want to swell it up, level it out a little bit. Like I said, all you're doing is trying to bring those deep grooves down in that surface back up to the surface, and then go through and level everything back out so it's nice and uniform across the board. Then be sure that you razor your entire fingerboard. Anytime you're doing anything like this, any inlay, any binding, touch-up, or anything like that, if you got to take a razor to the fingerboard, remember, only unfinished, not a finished fingerboard. So just be sure you go through, make sure everything looks uniform, clean it all up, and that's it. Pretty simple, nothing too crazy. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.